Emil Kadlec here with the footballdiehards.com. NFL Week 16, the line of scrimmage cash game show with some GPP. We're here with the star of the show, the scholar, John Laub. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Happy holidays, everyone. Because yesterday was Christmas, we came on this morning. I have never worked so hard for my playoff matchups as I have this week, including the DFS lineups. They're constantly changing. The news is changing by the minute, and it has opened up a ton of value, Emil. It's going to be an interesting, it's going to be an interesting day. I'm ready for it. So let's help our viewers build some winning lineups.
All right, here we go. Slide number one.
Before I go into our sleepers this week, there is one player in which the value is opened up, but I'm not going to put him in a cash game. But that player is Josh Johnson. Without Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley, Josh Johnson is going to quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. He's bare minimum, Emil. He is the ultimate GPP long shot. He is 35 years old. I did not realize this. Wow. I went back to look at some college numbers, Emil. He threw 113 touchdowns against only 15 interceptions in college. He also ran for 1,800 yards. Now, that was at San Diego State, not the highest level of competition. But he's been in the NFL for a very long time. If you're a huge risk taker, you can go get Josh Johnson. And remember, Emil, we saw him on that game against the Colts in Week 9. He came off the bench. He had 317 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game, replacing Mike White. You can't even find him on the ownership right now. I think he's the ultimate GPP play. If you want to risk it, go for it. Josh Johnson is, to me, the clear bare minimum value at the quarterback position. Now, if you're building cash game lineups today, the quarterback that I like for a sleeper is Joe Burrow at the Ravens. I believe that Josh Johnson is good enough to keep this score close, and I mean within 10. And why is that important? We need the Bengals to continue to score points. We don't want we don't want a 21-0 second quarter score, because then maybe the Bengals dial down the passing game and they move along to the running back game with Joe Mixon. We want an uptick. Now, with Tyler Huntley, it was a total no-brainer. I just want to show everyone our nice little
Hey, there it is. What's the name
loves to hang out with me. Her name is Waffles.
Waffles, of course.
So I do believe that the Ravens with Josh Johnson are good enough to keep the scoreboard moving. That's why I like Joe Burrow here. He's only 5,900, Emil. I'm getting a starting quarterback for less than 6,000. And here's what's interesting. He was at one time in Week 8, Emil, 7,100. Here are his salaries. 6,800, 6,600, 62, 63, 6, and 61. He's now at 5,900. We have not seen this low of a salary since Week 4 at Jacksonville or against Jacksonville. Now, recency bias, he only scored 12 points last week. But the previous 2 games, he scored 25 and 22 DraftKings points. I believe if the Bengals want to get to the playoffs and win a playoff game, and I still don't think they've won a playoff game since before Marvin Lewis. So this is a long time. How are you going to win a playoff game? You need to get Joe Burrow in that passing game at the highest level that they can be. I like Burrow here. I think he throws a minimum of 3 touchdowns. Now, last game when he played against Baltimore, he had 31 DraftKings points, 416 yards. I don't think he gets 416. He might, but I don't expect it. But I like 3 touchdowns here. If you get over the 300 yards passing, you get the 3-point bonus. I like Joe Burrow as my sleeper here. I'm going to put him at quarterback. Look at that, 4% ownership, Emil. That's really nice.
Stunning.
And I wanted to look at running backs, Emil. Justin Jackson, 35% owned. Ronald Jones, 30% owned. I said, our viewers are smart. I'm not going to put those players under the sleeper column. So I wanted players who have low ownership with better matchups. We saw Rashad Penny against the Texans, 29.8 points. Last week, I was not on Rashad Penny, did not like the matchup against the Rams. But this week, the Seahawks are at home against the Bears, Emil. This matchup is going under the radar. We know that Pete Carroll wants to run the football. He's been conservative. He at least used to they used to connect on those shot plays deep with Russell Wilson. Maybe Russell Wilson's hands are still hurting him. I don't know. Those shot plays are not there as often. I think they go back to the running game today with Rashad Penny. What I like about Penny is he's a home run hitter. He can score from beyond 50 yards at any moment. I think we get a big touchdown here. If you're looking to differentiate and you're looking for a running back with extremely low ownership, Rashad Penny here, I like him for the ceiling. There is risk, but he's playing the Bears at home. I like this matchup a lot for Penny. People aren't talking about him. People aren't thinking about him. I'm going to go with Penny for my sleeper. The other one, Javonta Williams at 4%. So I identified, and all our viewers are so smart. We know the top running backs. There's so much value. Justin Jackson's at the top of everyone's board at 4,200. I'm not going to tell you to play those guys. Here is Javonta Williams, an outstanding matchup against the Raiders with Drew Lock at quarterback, Emil.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you back Drew Lock? You run the football, you run the football, you run the football, you run the football. They might carry the ball between Melvin Gordon and Javonta Williams if the game script stays close. And Denver's defense should keep them in this game. It should be close. I think they might run the ball combined 40 times today. Recency bias. Javonta Williams only had 12 points against Cincinnati. The previous 3 games, 21, 33, and 20 DraftKings points. His targets the last month, 4, 2, 9, 4. Love the target share. Love the great breakaway ability. I like him in this matchup at 4 ownership. I think Javonta Williams scores over 20 points today. He should get in the end zone against the Raiders. At 4% ownership, love it. People are going elsewhere for their value at running back. But Javonta Williams is great under-owned value here. And Josh Palmer. I'm banking on Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert should be able to throw the ball at will today against the Texans. Well, we now have Mike Williams and we have Jalen Guyton on the COVID. They're not playing. That essentially leaves Joshua Palmer as the third target. You do have Cook in the passing game. But you have Keenan Allen, and then you have Cook at tight end, and that leaves Joshua Palmer. Joshua Palmer, coming out of Tennessee, liked him. Big play receiver. 2 weeks ago against the Giants, he had 17.5 DraftKings points, Emil. 7 targets, 5 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown. There's no one else out there. I'll tether my wide receiver to Justin Herbert in a phenomenal matchup against the Houston Texans. Joshua Palmer, nearly built bare minimum, 3,300. Love the value. And those are my 4 sleepers. Emil, were you able to plug them into our optimizer?
Yeah, I got them all but Palmer. I'm not sure why it won't let me in. I'm in the main thing, but I'm not sure why it's letting me have Palmer in, so I can't stick him in. But I got the other ones in. It's got me Najee Harris. It's got Antonio Brown with Tampa Bay. It's got Hollywood Brown with Baltimore. That's kind of interesting. It's got Kelsey. And I'm not sure why it's not allowing me to put Palmer in, but I'll figure on that on the next lineups. But yeah, lots of money left there for some really nice lineups in our lineup optimizer. And one of them even has Kupp in it. It has Kupp and Antonio Brown.
That's, you know what? I one of the reasons I like these sleepers, it does allow you to have Cooper Kupp in the lineup. So I wanted to be able to give the viewers the option of playing Cooper Kupp in this sleeper quartet.
Yep. Fantastic. When is that game? I've got to figure out. I don't know why this thing is not allowing him in. But nonetheless, excellent options there for those lineups. And by the way, on Penny and Williams there, you rounded up. Those guys are like 3.5 ownership, 3.5.
Yeah, I always round up a little bit. Yeah, so I think they're great value today.
Yeah, that's just crazy value. I love it. All right, off to the Fantastic Four.
All right, building our cash game lineup. Where do you want to place your, to me, the core of your team, the Fantastic Four? I'm going to let our viewers decide on Cooper Kupp. I mean, our viewers are too smart, Emil. We all know Cooper Kupp might be the MVP of the league this year. That's how good he is playing. I mean, he's just been absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to let every viewer make that decision. I think it's a pretty easy decision. So I'm not going to tell you to play Cooper Kupp in your Fantastic Four. But I want to give you value. So if you want to put him in the Fantastic Four, you can add him in. But I love Matthew Stafford here. The Vikings are decimated, Emil, on the back end. I mean, they're secondary. I can barely name them other than Harrison Smith. I mean, it's just not looking good. Look at Matthew Stafford is in a smash spot. I think he's in the highest over-under of the day. Let me double check that for a second on my list here. Why can't I all of a sudden remember? Yes, Rams at Vikings, 49.5. So you're looking at the quarterback in the highest over-under. And what I like about it, Emil, the Rams are only 3-point favorites. Well, that's important. Because Vegas tells us that the Rams or the Vikings are going to remain in this game. You know, none of us as DFS players, we don't want the blowout. You know, you don't want that 31-10 game, you know, with the favorite in the fourth quarter because then they're going to dial the passing game. Stafford here, 6,700. And what I liked about him more is he saves you off of Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Justin Herbert. He's less expensive than all of those players. I also do like him with Cooper Kupp, but I'll let our viewers decide what to do with the Cooper Kupp decision. Love Matthew Stafford here. I think 300 yards and 3 touchdowns are easily a done deal. He might also get 4 touchdowns in this game. Absolutely love him. Now, I'm not telling anyone here that something they don't know. When you go to our daily optimizer, our ownership, DFS ownership here, Ronald Jones is the second most owned. Oh, he's now 29%. Look at, he's Tom Brady's running back with no Leonard Fournette. We've all been playing Leonard Fournette all season long. He's been unbelievable in this spot playing with Brady. Well, Ronald Jones steps into this spot. He hasn't been great this year, but this is the game in which Ronald Jones should have the majority of touches. I'm expecting about a 65 to 70% snap share. Ronald Jones can catch the ball. If you go back and look at his box scores from last year, Ronald Jones had some exceptional games for the Buccaneers. He's a little bit of a home run hitter. He can score from beyond 30, and he should get the goal line touches. And I always love running backs with Tom Brady. So I'm getting a running back with Tom Brady on the road against the Panthers, not afraid of the Panthers defense. Also, the Panthers can rush the quarterback. So if they can rush the quarterback, two things I like here. One, you run the football. That's Ronald Jones. And two, you employ the screen game. Maybe I'm old. I've watched a ton of football. I still don't understand coaches when they're playing a ferocious pass rush. You watch the game and the opposing team doesn't throw a screen pass. I don't get it. Best way to slow down that pass rush, screen game, and quick passes to your running back. I love Ronald Jones here. And the one thing the Panthers can do on defense is rush the quarterback, especially on the edges. So I think Ronald Jones at 5,100, Emil, he's got to be in your lineup. It's a cash game. I don't care what the ownership is. Even if it reaches 45%, I'm okay with it. I'm going to put Ronald Jones in. I was looking for value at wide receiver in a good position. While I'm researching that Bears game and the Seahawks, and I found Rashad Penny, I also started to look a little bit at the matchups in the secondary. Tyler Lockett missed last week because of COVID, but he has been practicing, and all reports indicated that he wasn't really sick. He just tested positive. So I know there's some risk here of wide receiver or any player coming back from COVID, but it doesn't look like he was like riddled with sickness in bed. 8% ownership. If you look at the wide receivers, I'm getting a player way down. He's less than Hunter Renfrow, Adam Thielen, and then Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, who aren't even playing today. I definitely think Russell Wilson will take 1 to 2. I mentioned it a little earlier. He loves those deep shots, Russell Wilson. But he needs his all-pro wide receiver, Tyler Lockett, back in the fold. I love Lockett here, and I wanted to give salary savings to those who want to start Cooper Kupp. Last time we saw Tyler Lockett, 30 points against the Texans. But here's what's more impressive. 19 points against San Fran, 13 points against the football club, and 18 and a half against Arizona. Tyler Lockett's playing good football when he's on the field. I love Lockett in my Fantastic Four. And I had to find value at tight end. In order to get Cooper Kupp in, I needed value. Why do I like Cole Kmet here? Game script. The Bears should be throwing in the second half of the game. I also like, if you remember, Nick Foles, when they went to the Super Bowl and he won it with Philadelphia, Zach Ertz was a star. Nick Foles throws the ball between the hash marks to his tight ends, Emil. I like Cole Kmet here. Very quietly, Cole Kmet's had an interesting season that's going under the radar. The Bears have had all kinds of problems. So this isn't a prolific passing game by any stretch of the imagination. At quarterback, we can talk about the lack of coaching. All types of problems. At the end of the day, Cole Kmet has 49 receptions, Emil. I'm shocked. 490 yards. His only blight on the resume, he doesn't score touchdowns. Jimmy Graham's been in there. He should score 1 or 2 touchdowns by the end of the year. Maybe we get a little lucky here that Cole Kmet finally gets in the end zone with Nick Foles. Now, in the last 4 games, Emil, look at the targets Cole Kmet has had. 9, 5, 7, and 11.
Ooh.
Nick Foles, those are nice target numbers. If he scores in any of these games, his numbers look so much better. Touchdowns are fickle, but I wanted to give you value so that you could go up and get Cooper Kupp. So that's my Fantastic Four, everyone. Did you put it into the optimizer?
Yes, I did. And it's heavy. Najee Harris, Antonio Brown, it likes to put those guys. It even has James Robinson for Jacksonville in the flex. And, of course, it does multiple. I've looked down here, and it doesn't get Kupp in any of its lineups, surprisingly.
Interesting.
Yeah, but so you can run that. and get, of course, tons of different lineups, and a lot of value there. A lot of value.
Absolutely.
And by the way, Bob Harris just said that Kelsey is out, and so no Kelsey today to play. Just happened now. It's 9:20 Eastern time, so people watch this on demand. They may already know that, but Kelsey's out.
Let me give our viewers very interesting value in Noah Gray, rookie tight end from Duke. I liked him coming out in the college draft. He's more of a pass catcher than inline blocker. Blake Bell, I believe, is more of the inline blocking back, but I do like Noah Gray. If you're looking for bare minimum, Noah Gray's only $2,500. He is a fascinating punt play against the Steelers today, everyone.
That is interesting. Let's see who we've got in there. Well, I don't know if I have time to look it up. Let's see. Well, anyway, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I was trying to look at it. All right, so we're off to the next slide. Interesting stuff.
All right. Hey, if you're like me, I'm going to be locked on the news from now until kickoff. But if you go to footballdiehards.com, we will help you build better DFS lineups today. We have so much great information for you. We have DraftKings cash plays and GPP stacks by Jamie Calandro. We have the Shadow Nose by Gary Davenport, which is our wide receiver cornerback matchups. We have the Hall of Famer Bob Harris, who just helped us on our show with the DFS 3 and Out. We have Digging in the Crates Daily by Justin Lanero, if you're looking for other sleepers than the ones that I just identified. And then, obviously, following me today at 10 a.m. on the Football Diehards YouTube channel, Jamie and Jason are coming on, and they'll be giving you even more information and breaking down all the games for you.
Fantastic. All right, off to the final slide. There we are.
My friends, it might sound crazy. We all saw that game on the Monday night in Buffalo where the Patriots won 14-10. Well, for me, that just presents opportunity in the land of DFS. People are running away from this game, and I understand it. I get it, but I'm running towards this game. I'm starting Josh Allen in 3 playoff games today. I don't care. I'm not benching one of the best fantasy quarterbacks. There's no way. And eventually, great players figure it out. And good coaching staffs figure it out. The Bills know what the Patriots did. They understand game plan wasn't rocket science. What did they throw? 2 passes, Emil?
It was a small number.
It was a small number. Well, the Bills know what's going to happen. I don't think the Patriots are going to only throw 2 passes. Bill Belichick and McDaniels are brilliant. They rarely use the same game plan against the same opponent in the year twice. I think this game's going to go over the 43.5. Fantasy fans are running from it. I'm running towards it in GPP. New England's only a 1-point favorite. And I'm about 3 hours south of this game today. It is beautiful weather in the Northeast. It's chilly, but there's no wind, no rain on the docket, and no snow. They're going to be able to throw the football. This is a better conditions for Josh Allen. I believe that the brain trust of Buffalo and Josh Allen have figured some things out. I get it, but look at that ownership, Emil. 7%.
Ooh.
I'm getting Josh Allen at 7% ownership. You really get him at that low-level ownership. I'm running towards it. Love Josh Allen here. Now, Damian Harris is questionable, so we have to watch. But I do think he's going to play. We have lost Brandon Bolden, it looks like, as well as Ramondre Stevenson. That leaves one man basically that we know. Now, the Patriots will bring someone up off the taxi squad. And let me see who they got here. They also, J.J. Taylor might get some action in this game. But I think Damian Harris gets 20 touches easily. He might score. He has 2 touchdown potential. Love him in this matchup at that 4% ownership. Now, we will watch if he's active. I believe he's going to be active, but we'll get confirmation if you listen to Bob on the Sirius XM on his fan show with Jeff Mans today, that he'll be able to give you the inactive list at about 11:30. I do think Harris is going to be in there. You can pivot. If Harris is out, just pivot to whoever's left in the New England backfield, my friends. Now, we have Cole Beasley and Gabriel Davis ended up on the COVID list.
Yeah.
That leaves Stephon Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders. I do believe the Patriots, we know one thing they're going to do. They're going to take away Stephon Diggs. Belichick is famous for taking away your number one option on that side of the football. Well, that leaves Emmanuel Sanders and Dawson Knox. They're going to get peppered with targets today. Dawson Knox dropped a big pass. He played really poorly against New England. I expect Dawson Knox to play better today. I'm getting Emmanuel Sanders at 4% ownership, Dawson Knox at 6% ownership. I'll take those with Josh Allen, especially because I do believe that Belichick takes Stephon Diggs out of this game. Now, he'll be okay. I'm playing Stephon Diggs in PPR scoring because he still could easily go 5 for 60. I don't expect him to have one of those, 120-yard days or anything. But I like this here in a GPP. And then where do I go on the New England side? Emil, it came down to ceiling. Yep. Kendrick Bourne has the biggest ceiling. Week 9 or 10 against Cleveland, 24 DraftKings points. Week 12 against Tennessee, 23 DraftKings points. Kendrick Bourne scored 3 touchdowns in those 2 games. I didn't even know. I just noticed this. He also had 21 points against New Orleans in week 3.
Beautiful.
In GPP, I'm looking for ceiling. Kendrick Bourne at 5,000 is the ceiling play. I do believe this game goes over. I think the numbers are so low. This is a smash GPP spot where you could really differentiate yourself from the field. If Josh Allen runs for a touchdown, throws 2, all we have to hope is that Emmanuel Sanders and Dawson Knox catch both touchdowns. I love this here. And then we have Damian Harris and Kendrick Bourne on the other side. Emil, did you put those into our optimizer?
Yes, I did. And I did one thing just to see what would happen. I also locked in Cooper Kupp, just to see what happened. Of course, we're locking in, 6 players. And what I saw, one of the lineups is Najee Harris and Cole Kmet, which makes sense. It's really hard to get that many people locked in, but you can get Kupp in, and there is some very viable scenarios there. And of course, without them, there's a lot more. So yes, it's definitely some excellent opportunities there with this lineup.
I want to give our viewers one other option. If you don't want Cooper Kupp because of high ownership, and I get it in a GPP, pivot to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is only $1,000. He's $1,000 less in that matchup. Justin Jefferson is a real nice pivot from Cooper Kupp in a GPP. We have Justin Jefferson projected at 10.8% ownership and Cooper Kupp at over 27% ownership. So I like the pivot here, put in this lineup, and pivot to Justin Jefferson.
Fascinating. Good idea. Yeah, these are some great ones. I can't wait to get in there here in a little while. We're a little early. I got some time. to wait just a little bit and see where I want to go with this. But yeah, these are some really good opportunities here. And
yeah, I think that Patriot game, if it goes into the 50s, not likely, but if it did and you're on it, woo, you're looking good, Emil.
well,
I mean, these are good teams. I don't expect a low scoring output again.
yeah, well, obviously Buffalo is their backs against the wall. New England
Yes.
lost last week. They lost, so
Yes.
it's a really important game. Not that
Yes.
there isn't other important games in Week 16 here. We got 2 more weeks after this. Now that we have 18 weeks, so we're getting down to the point where anything can happen in these games because it's so important for both teams.
Absolutely. Oh my God, we only have 2 more shows left. You're right. The regular season ends. Wow.
Yeah,
You're right about that.
crazy. I was thinking it was going long, and all of a sudden it's almost over.
It goes too fast.
Yeah, it definitely goes too fast. Well, wonderful, John. Anything else you want to add?
No, just stay tuned. It's going to be a roller coaster for the next 3 hours. I mean, we got the first report. Bob told us that Travis Kelce is out if you joined us late. Noah Gray is an interesting pivot. Super cheap, bare minimum, $2,500. Or Blake Bell. But I like Noah Gray. I think he has more upside. But Tyreek Hill's playing. It's funny. All week, I was interested in Pringle and McCole Hardman. But once Tyreek Hill came back, I decided they're not as interested without Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, certainly Gray and Bell are very viable right now with those salaries. And again, we're in this mode, and there may be some more things to follow, like you said today here on Sunday, Week 16, where you're going to have to, make another choice that may actually help you win because some people may not notice.
Absolutely, my friend. All right, good luck, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great Week 16.